Welcome back to From the Bookshelf for another weekly download where we'll be looking at what I've been reading this past week. Before we get started, don't forget to like and comment on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel to get notified for any new videos in this series, as well as my book club series where we go through books that I enjoy reading and that I hope you enjoy reading. So just like last week, I don't have them with me physically. I had to get them back to the library, but I'll be putting them up here for you to take a look at. So the first book we're going to be looking at is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. It is a young adult fantasy series with magic and all that kind of thing. So it features a young princess who just about to take over her kingdom. Then her magic goes awry and she's forced to flee, and she has to find a way to earn the trust of her people as well as save her kingdom. And it's a really good book. It seems to be the first one in the series. There's another one coming out soon, so I'm looking forward to reading that as well. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's really good. It's well written, got interesting characters, and I can't wait to see what happens next in that series. So then we have Murphy's Law by Jack Murphy. It is a memoir, military memoir of a former member of the military and his time overseas, as well as after he gets back and that kind of thing. It's good. It's well written, and like I always, it's interesting. But this one wasn't my favorite out of the military memoirs that I have read. I've read some that I liked better. I think I give this one a 6 out of 10 just because it wasn't as quite as good as some of the other ones that I've read, but it's still a good read. And if you like these kind of books, I would suggest reading this one as well. So then we have a graphic novel, The Ancient Magus Bride. This is volume 12. This one, it's supernatural and a little bit fantasy, and it's kind of hard to explain. You kind of have to look it up. It's all about magic and magical creatures and stuff like that coinciding with this here in the normal world, and it's really good. I've been reading it for a couple years. It's still ongoing. This was just the newest one that I was able to get from the library. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Definitely worth a read. I would go check it out if you like graphic novels. It's fun, entertaining, it's mystery, fantasy, a little bit of everything. So then we have 06 Bravo by Damian Lewis. This one, it's a military account of events that happened overseas with the British military. So this one, it's not a memoir. It's written more like biographical by someone else talking about this story, how 60 military men were able to survive against 1,000 or so of the insurgents overseas, and it's a really good story. I gave this one an 8 out of 10. It was really well done, quite enjoyable to read, and I would recommend it for anyone who likes the military type stories. And then we have War Dogs by Rebecca Frankel. This one kind of gives you a little bit of the history of canines and dogs within the military and how they got started, and it tells you the story of several dogs who have worked with the military and have saved lives and all of that. It's a good book. Well, definitely something fun and entertaining, especially if you like military books as well as, animals and dogs and that kind of thing. This one is 7 out of 10, mostly because there's some other books that I liked a bit more than this one in particular, but it was still good. Then we have Brooklyn to Baghdad by Christopher Strom. This one is about a former New York policeman investigator who did interrogations and stuff like that, who ended up joining the military as an investigator to help as a interrogator, He joined as an interrogator to help interrogate insurgents that were captured overseas, to find out about others that were there, where to find them, and that like kind of thing. This is actually a really good book. It's really well written. It's very well done. It holds your interest, and again, like a lot of the other books in the series, if you enjoy the military stories and stuff like that, it's a definite read. It gave it a 9 out of 10. It was definitely one of the better ones that I've read in that kind of genre. So if you like those books, then once again, there's another one to read. And then the final book for this week is 16th Watch by Mike Cole. Mike Cole is kind of a supernatural military type writer. He kind of blends the two together. He's a great writer. I love his books. This one wasn't necessarily my favorite, and I think it was still really good. He's a great writer. I think one of the things that threw me off a little bit was the description of the book. On the back, it says one thing, but then you don't really get to a lot of that until like the last like chapter or two of the book, and it's like almost like the book is kind of different than what it describes it as. So I think that kind of like threw me off a bit, but I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was still really good. I feel like this is only like the first one in a series. However, there doesn't seem to be another one coming planned or coming out. I don't know if he'll continue it, but I feel like there's much more to this story than what was just told here, as it sort of ends on a cliffhanger. So we'll have to wait and see if there's another one. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed hearing what I've been reading. If I've inspired you to read anything, then go ahead and post it online and use the hashtag #OffTheBookshelf so I can see what you've been reading and what you like. And if you have any recommendations or anything you think I should read and talk about, go ahead and put it down in the description below and I'll take a look. All right, until next time.